Aid Bank, the National Cooperative Credit Union, Auto Depot Limited, Springfield Trading, Fort Young Hotel, Jungle Bay Resorts, AC Shillingford and Company Limited, Garaway Enterprises, Ocean Edge, and On the Go Catering Services. At this time, we go across to the massacre canefield Primary School to say good afternoon to Millia Joseph Dennis. Take it away.
Bon après-midi, Hazari Williams. Bon après-midi, tout le monde qui l'a épinu. Good afternoon. And welcome to those of you tuned in via DBS Radio and, of course, our Facebook and YouTube page. As we're about to present to you day 4 of the first round of reading competition organized by DBS Radio in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. We are here at the Massacre Canefield Primary School again to bring you a day 4 of competition in this first round as we seek for the best reader here in Dominica and again at that particular level. So we'll just go straight into our program here this afternoon, as we know we must pay homage to our beautiful country. And so we'll now call on 2 students from the Warner Primary School, that is Kaden Basil and Nela Bruno, to do the national anthem for us. Please stand. Thank you, Kaden. Thank you, Nyla. Please remain standing as we now call on Miss Bridget Henry to lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Almighty and Heavenly Father, we thank you, dear Lord, for today. And we thank you for the blessings, the mercies, and the graces that you extend towards us. Even as we gather here this afternoon for another round of our reading competition, I lift up the students to you. I pray, Lord Jesus, that you rid them of the nerves that they have and help them, dear Lord, that they may put their best foot forward. I pray, Father in heaven, that this experience will be a betterment for them. And I pray, Father, that everything will be a success today in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Ms. Henry. Please be seated. And now we'll call on the coordinator for the DBS Radio Ministry of Education National Reading Competition, Ms. Kimara Ito, to officially welcome us here at the Massacre Canefield Primary School.
Good afternoon to all here this afternoon at the Massacre Canefield Primary School, to our judges, our students, those of you at home listening, those of you viewing on our Facebook page and YouTube page as well. Welcome to another day of competition, reading competition, as we are in a quest of finding the top reader on the island here in the nature island of the Caribbean, Dominica. This year, the 2021 DBS Radio Ministry of Education National Reading Competition is like no other. And this year, it's, basically as part of our 50th anniversary celebration, we are putting this together to celebrate an entire year with DBS. So the DBS Radio Ministry of Education National Reading Competition forms part of our anniversary celebrations. Also, this year, as you all know, that Felix Henderson, the late Felix Henderson, was a stalwart in this reading competition, and we are paying homage to him as we, always ensure that reading is highlighted wherever you are, wherever you go. So it's not just about staying home and you're reading for school, it's reading all across the board. So we are here to pay homage to Felix for the work that he has done for the past couple years. And I camera shy, you know that. So our students here this afternoon, our 8 students here this afternoon, let me just welcome you and just let you know that you have done great so far. For you to be here today, it means that you are one of the best readers in your school. So put your hands together for the students that are here today, representing your schools. And of course, it's going to be a 3-round competition, and I wish you all the best. I am hoping that you're going to make it very hard for our judges here this afternoon. Make it very, very hard, so it will be difficult for them to choose the top 5. They will be announcing the top 5 readers of the day. However, the competition is decided. The 30 students after this round will be selected based on your scores. So let me just read through the rules so those of you who are listening and viewing, and those of you here, parents and teachers who are here, would understand. The competition rules. The competition is open to grades 3, 4, and 5 students who would have not reached 10 years of age by November 1, 2021. Students will be judged based on the attached rubric. I will read that to you in a while. There will be 3 rounds of competition. During each round, students will be expected to read a narrative, news item, and a sports item. The top 30 students from round 1 will advance to round 2. The top 30 will be determined by overall score and will be announced at the end of the round after all 6 groups have participated. The top 18 schools from round 2 will advance to the semi-final round after 3 groups have completed. The top 10 students from round 3 will advance to the final. So you understand, it's based on your scores today and how well they read according to the rubric. So let me just go through the rubric, and those of you who've been following should know the rubric by heart by now. However, if you're just getting to know what it is, here it is. Were all words read accurately? Were phrases read effectively as one unit? Was punctuation interpreted correctly? Were all words pronounced distinctly? Were key words emphasized? Was mood or feeling conveyed effectively? Was volume used effectively? Was pitch used effectively? Was the selection read at an appropriate rate for audience or purpose? And did the students appear relaxed, confident, and able to recover quickly if a mistake was made? So these are what the judges will be looking for as our students compete in 3 rounds of competition: the narrative, news, and sports. So let's all just wish our students all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ito. And yes, as Kimara just made mention, but before I go into that, encore qui m'a dit bon après-midi pour tout le monde qui a écouté. Nous la messieurs mesdames au 4e jour à premier one compétition pour lui organisé par Radio DBS en collaboration et puis ministre pour affaires éducation qu'on a regardé pour enfants qui ça les primaires Dominique pour l'année 2021. All right, and as Kim mentioned, we are here this year paying homage to Felix Henderson. We are reading for Felix. And so I'm going to ask each and every one of you to stand once again as we observe a moment of silence in honor of the late Felix Henderson. Thank you so very much. Please be seated. All right, just before we go into competition mode, we will introduce to you who our judges will be here this afternoon judging this particular round. Towards your right, for those of you who in the audience, towards your extreme right, we have Miss Charlene White Christian, who is the Modern Language Officer in the Ministry of Education. Let's give it up for Mrs. Charlene White Christian. Center stage, we have Mr. Prince Saint-Jean, who is a librarian, also an officer in the Documentation Center. Give it up for Mr. Saint-Jean. And to the extreme right, we have Kelma Shillingford, who is a teacher at the Goodwill Secondary School. Thank you so much, judges. We do appreciate your time and effort. We do hope, however, that the students here this afternoon will give you a hard task. Let's pray for that. And the reason why we are here is because of these 8 lovely students. So I'll introduce to you whoever they are. When I call their name, they will stand. Representing the Bells Primary School, we have young Kelly Baron. That's Kelly Baron. From the Campbell Primary School, we have Marwan Bedminister. Thank you, Mr. Bedminister. From the Christian Union Primary School, Zafanaya Florent. Thank you, Mr. Florent. From the Maho Primary School, Abby Ryan. From the massacre Canefield Primary School, Amelia St. Rose. From the Pioneer Preparatory School, we have Kitara Beaupierre. From the West District SDA Primary School, Dijon Charles. And from the Warner Primary School, Nikki Saintville. Don't worry, Nikki, I understand. If you look at them, they body a little bit, not true? Yes, they a little bit, but we know there is power in those little bodies here. And we're hoping to see that through the reading abilities here this afternoon. This is, again, the reason why we are here as we search for the best reader for the year 2021. So we'll go straight into competition as we now call on the first reader for this afternoon, reading the narrative round, Miss Kelly Aaron from the Bells Primary School.
The children did not all like it when their cousin Tom was there. It was such a bold, bad boy. He laughed at them for being afraid to do these things. You can't climb the top of the tree. You won't come and paddle on the pond. Won't come and chase the silly old cows. Alice, Sam, and Peter were not afraid of doing any of those things, but they had just been forbidden to climb trees and paddle in the pond, and they knew it was wrong to chase the cows. We're not afraid. It's just that we're not allowed to do it, said Alice. You're a bold, bad boy, always wanting to get us into trouble. You babies, said Tom. I wish I hadn't got babies for cousins. Look how Alice screams when I hide behind the door and jump at her. It's a horrid trick, said Alice. I hate the ways you always trying to frighten us and make us jump. You know Sam is only 5. You made him dreadfully frightened last night when you hid under his bed and growled and pulled all his bedclothes off. He thought you were a bear. Tom laughed. Sam shouted, "Be such a coward," he said. "He's not," said Peter. He didn't cry or squeal out. He was very, very brave. Tom really was a most unpleasant boy. When he found out that the three cousins really did hate to be jumped at, he did it all the more. They got very tired of it, and at last they thought Very would try to give him a fright. Tom slept along at night in a little room. The three children made their plans carefully. "I'll be the whistling owl," said Alice. "Sam, you can be the popping panda. And Peter, you can be the windy willies." The two boys stared at her. "What's a whistling owl?" asked Peter. "I have never heard that kind of owl." "Nor have I," said Alice with a giggle. "I just made up all the names."
All right, so thank you so much, Kaylee Aaron. That's Kaylee Aaron here from the Bells Primary School. Miss Aaron is 9 years of age. She is currently in grade 4. Her favorite subject is mathematics. Now, parents and students, listen well. Miss Aaron says to me that her hobby is washing dishes. Now, if you have a child like Aaron, I know any parent would be happy to have a child that enjoy. That's not fair, you know. But we know they have to do little chores. But sometimes we have to try not to take advantage of them when, even if they like to do it. Because some parents, we think because we make children, the children just do work. Mais c'est pas ça. We have to give them the time, let them enjoy what it is like to do certain chores, but at the same time not take advantage of them. However, young Aaron says she enjoys doing the dishes. She would like to become a teacher. She would like to emulate one of her very own teachers at her school, Miss Christopher. The reason for that being Miss Christopher is very nice. She reads to her students and she's very kind. Miss Christopher, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, eh? Because Miss Aaron would like to be just like you. Give it up for young Kelly Aaron. All right, so we're moving on to our second reader here this afternoon from the Campbell Primary School. Let's welcome Mawan Bedminister.
Peter tried not to giggle. Wogler billows hard, and a cold air blew. Tom's hair straight over his face. "Ooh," said Tom. "Ooh." Went a lice finger rubbing up and down the window pane. Bang, pop, bang, went some bags under the bed. Whoosh went Peter's billows, blowing cold air down Tom's neck. It's the whistling owl and the popping panda and the windy willies, yelled Tom, scared and trembling. "Oh, what shall I do?" They all escaped and got into my room. "Help me! Save me!" yelled Tom at top of his voice. "Alice, Sam, Peter, come and save me." The three little children made their way quietly to the door, and Peter put his bellows outside there. Then they all trooped in the darkness, saying, "What's the matter outside there?" They all trooped in the darkness, saying, "What's the matter, Tom? Why are you calling us? Look outside. The whistling owl's here and popping panda and the windy willies," called Tom. At them, boys at them cried. Alice and she and Sam Peter printed to hit and bang all place. Still in the dark, Tom hid his head under the clothes. He was sobbing. Suddenly the light was switched on, and there was Mother, looking most astonished. "What's all this?" she said sternly. Tom peeped out. "Oh, Aunt Joan, don't scold the others," he begged. "They're terrible brave. I was attacked by a whistling owl, a popping panda, and a windy willies, and they came and fought them and sent away." Said Mother, and she looked at her children. "Tom's always jumping out at us and laughing because we get scared," said Alice. "It's funny, Mother, isn't it, that he got so scared of an owl, a panda, and a willy. We soon sent them away." Said Mother again. "We'll get back to bed now." Tom know what it's like to feel so scared. I won't try and frighten other people."
That was Mawan Bedminster, representing the Campbell Primary School. It is not a nice feeling to be frightened. We know that, right? Because if you frighten the wrong person at the wrong time for the wrong reason with the wrong thing, we know foul fouet can take somebody. Especially if we know the person might be fearful of a particular thing. I always say that. It's not a good thing. It's nice to play, little hoop say where every now and then, little hoop. But it's not a nice thing to frighten somebody, especially with something that you know that they might be scared of, especially the dark. Yes? Now in the story we have the whistling owl. Does anybody know of the whistling bird we have in Dominica? Anybody know what it's called? Nobody? Not you, cameraman. Not you, man. I'm speaking to the audience there. I'll leave that to you in just a short while. However, that was a young Mawan Bedminster from the Campbell Primary School who is 9 years of age. He's in grade 3. His favorite subject is mathematics. He enjoys watching videos on YouTube. His favorite video is Tom and Jerry. He would like to become a police officer. When I asked him why, Mawan said, "Dominica, I have plenty of people to get locked up. So he would like to become a police officer." Give it up one more time for Mawan Bedminster. All right, so we're moving on to the Christian Union Primary School. Let's welcome Zephaniah Florent.
I don't like my mother. "I don't like my mother," said Goldilocks, the walking doll. She was talking to a doll who sat on the park seat beside her. The other doll looked shocked. "Don't like your mother? What a dreadful thing to say. What little girl is she? Tell me." "Well, do you see that child over there in the brown coat and red shirt?" said Goldilocks. The one with straight brown hair? She's my mother. She's horrid. Oh dear, I do feel sorry for you, said the other doll. That's my mother over there, the little girl with golden curls. She's so kind and sweet. And will you believe it? When she goes to bed at night, she always undresses me first and tucks me up. You're lucky, said Goldilocks. I never get tucked up or kissed and hugged, but I get plenty of smacks. The dolls tucked away to one another. All dolls look upon little girls they belong to as their mothers. And just as in the real grown-up mother world, there are good and bad mothers. So there are good and bad mothers in the little girl world. And poor Goldilocks had a very bad one indeed. She's so unkind, said Goldilocks. She pulls all her toys about and breaks them. She shouts and screams if things go wrong. And then we all try to get out of her way because she slaps us. I really haven't got a proper mother. Why don't you go and look for one, said the other doll. You're a walking doll, aren't you? I'll wind you up when nobody's looking, if you like, and you can slip down from the seat and walk quietly away. Well, wait till it's getting dark, said Goldilocks, feeling excited. Then I shan't be seen so easily. It gets dark at tea time now, and I can slip away before my mother collects me. So when it was beginning to get dark, and the children in the park were thinking of going home, the doll wound up Goldilocks. Down to the ground she stepped and began walking quickly along the path. A nurse saw her and was most astonished, but she couldn't go after her because she had a baby in a pram.
Zephaniah Florent from the Christian Union Primary School. He is 8 years of age, currently in grade 3. His favorite subject is phonics. Yes, well, I'm happy. Let me commend the Christian Union Primary, because just yesterday, I believe, Stephen D. and myself were speaking about, certain things that are not being taught still on the primary level, and to know that some schools are still taking in phonics, that's a good thing. So Zephaniah enjoys phonics. Also, his hobby is playing. He would like to become a racer, to take part in NASCAR. He actually has been practicing on video games. When I asked him, he said his mom says it's okay. So we have a future NASCAR racer on our hands. Give it up one more time for Zephaniah Florent. Now, if all you find I talking too much, not because I want to stand up there and talk to all you, we have to give the judges enough time to tabulate, because we don't want to say when we leave there, we know we are already, Dominicans especially, those judges, you know what we want to say. So we're going to give them enough time to go through the scores after the students have read, let them get the things in order. That's why I'm here, to give them that amount of time. As a matter of fact, 40 minutes ago, before this competition started, I was standing by the road, and a gentleman passing in a white double cab van, he said, "You know he's stuck around DBS?" No, it's not me, but anyways, I got his point. It's not me. Tokaro is somebody else. But yes, we appreciate that. All right, so we are moving on to the next participant here this afternoon. Let's welcome Abby Ryan from the Maho Primary School.
A dog saw her and ran up to sniff. What could this strange little walking animal be? Goldilocks didn't like the dog at all. One snapped and her head would be beaten off. But the dog gave her a wet lick and disappeared. He thought she was a little girl who had become very small. Then the park policeman saw her and called to her stop. Then the park policeman saw her and called to her to stop. Hey there, you! Who are you? What are you doing all by yourself? Goldilocks didn't answer. She ran under a seat and hid till the policeman had gone by. She didn't want to be captured. She ran on. She came to a car standing by the side of the road. One of the doors was open. Goldilocks peeped inside. A little girl was reading. Please, said Goldilocks, can you take me home? I'm a walking doll. I'm very unhappy because I'm lost. The little girl looked up in surprise. Gracious! A doll that can walk and talk? No, I shan't take you back to your home. I'll have you for myself and show you off all my friends. She made a grab at the doll, but Goldilocks jumped to the curb and ran for her life. Goodness! That little girl would never do for a mother. What a hard, unkind little face, though. Unkind little face she had. Goldilocks walked on again, down a path and in at a gate. She came to a door. It was ajar. She walked in and listened for children's voice. Ah, there were some upstairs. Perhaps she would find a mother here. Up she went and peered around the door. She saw 3 little girls there playing Ludo. Please, said Goldilocks, will you take me home? I'm a walking doll and I'm very unhappy because I'm lost. All the little girls looked up in the greatest surprise. A live doll? Said one little girl. I've never seen one before. I'll have you. Little doll. No, you won't. I shall have her, said the second child. I'm the oldest, so she will belong to me, said the third one. And the first child slapped the third one and the second child threw the counters at them both. That was quiet enough for Goldilocks. She ran down the stairs as fast as she could go.
All right, and that was young Abi Ryan from the Maho Primary School. Of course, we are exploring Goldilocks in a different adventure. Yes, so many of us would have known Goldilocks with the 3 bears, but we had, of course, exploring Goldilocks in another adventure here. Abby, I'm sorry, you'll have to forgive me, is Abby. She's 9 years of age. In grade 4, her favorite subject is mathematics. She too enjoys cleaning in her spare time, also riding bicycle. She would like to become a doctor to help the sick. However, Abby mentioned that she has not been able to practice being a doctor for a while because she lost her doctor kit during the passage of Hurricane Maria. Mommy, you have a little work to do here. Maybe we could all chip in and get Abby a little doctor kit so she can practice being a doctor. All right? However, Abby would like to follow on her aunt's footsteps in becoming a doctor. So let's wish her well one more time. Abby Ryan from the Maho Primary School. And we're moving on to the Massacre Canefield Primary School. Let's welcome Amelia St. Rose.
Three spiteful mothers that would never do. She spent out of the gate and wandered down the road. Soon she met another little girl wheeling a doll's pram. "Please," said Goldilocks, "will you take me home? I'm a walking doll and I'm very unhappy because I'm lost." "Good gracious," said the little girl. She picked Goldilocks up and put her in the pram. I never heard of such strange thing. "Now you stay there just a minute," whistled I. "Take this note to the lady in this house." She disappeared through the gate. A small voice spoke from the pram. "Are you really a walking, talking doll? Well, I advise you not to take Lulu to be your mother. She's like a little girl in the rhyme, the one who had a curl in the middle of her forehead. When she's good, she's very, very good, but when she's bad, she's horrid. She's got a bad temper, and bad-tempered people aren't good mothers." "Oh, thank you for telling me," said Goldilocks, and she scrambled down from the pram. "I don't want a bad-tempered mother. I want a mother who will always love me, one I can really trust." She ran off before the little girl came back, and she pumped straight into another girl carrying a bag of shopping. Neither of them saw the other in the dark, and Goldilocks fell over and bobbed her head. She began to cry. The little girl was astonished. She carried Goldilocks to a street lamp and looked at her. She took out her handkerchief and wiped the doll's face and fussed over her. "Did I hurt you? I'm sorry. What are you? Surely you must be a fairy, though you look like a doll. But I've never seen a girl that walked and talked before." "Please," sobbed Goldilocks, "will you take me home? I'm very unhappy because I'm lost." "You poor little thing," said Alice, the little girl. "Of course, I'll take you home. I'd simply love to keep you by myself because you're really wonderful, but that would be unkind because you want to go home to your mother." "I don't want to go home," said Goldilocks, smiling through her tears. "I ran away because I have a horrid mother."
All right, and that was Amelia St. Rose from the Massacre Canefield Primary School. Amelia is 9 years old. She is in grade 3, right here. at the massacre canefield primary school, she too enjoys phonics as her favorite subject. She enjoys playing with her baby brother on her tablet and also drawing. Now, young Amelia is caught between choices as to what she would like to become. She would either like to be an artist because she loves to paint, or to become a chef. She loves cooking. In fact, her favorite meal to cook currently is noodles. I ask Amelia, when will she be able to make up her mind as to what she would like to do? She said, maybe when I'm 10. And she's 9. So by the time she's 10, we'll know what Amelia would like to become. Give it up one more time for Amelia St. Rose. All right, from now the Pioneer Preparatory School, let's welcome Kitara Beaupierre.
Rip was greedy. He was a big dog with a big appetite, and he had plenty to eat. But he didn't think so. I'm starved, he said. And he went around to people's back doors and looked up at them so sadly out of his brown eyes that they rushed indoors and brought him out bones and scraps of meat and pudding dishes to lick around. He even stole dinners put down for all the cats round about. The big tabby was cross because she did enjoy her bowl of bread and milk, and when Rip came along, it was gone in a minute. The black cat wished her mistress wouldn't put her dinner down outside the back door, because as soon as Rip smelt it, he was there in a flash, and her dinner disappeared in a flash too. You are a mean, greedy dog, she scolded, and she spat at him, wishing she dared to put her claws into him. But she didn't because he was so big. It's your own fault, said Rip, licking his lips. You should eat more quickly. You're so slow. Ah, cats are slow in eating, said the black cat. We have good manners. We don't gobble like dogs. Everyone knew how greedy Rip was, especially the children. Sometimes they brought him all bones just to see him crunch them all up one by one and swallow them. He seemed to be able to go on forever. Now one day, 2 men wanted to burgle the house where Rip lived. We'll choose a night when the owners are out, said one. What about the dog? Asked the other. You bark like anything. That doesn't matter. There's nobody much to hear him around there, said the first man. The thing is, will he go for us? Is he kept loose in the yard, or is he on a chain? Loose, said the other man. And he's a big dog too. He has a kennel in the yard. Is he the dog that's so greedy? Said the first man after a pause. Yes, but I don't see how that helps us, unless you're thinking of giving him poisoned meat or something, said the other. I can't agree to that. I like dogs.
Kitara Beaupierre from the Pioneer Preparatory School. She's 8 years old and she is in grade 3. Her favorite subject is mathematics. She enjoys riding, bicycle, and reading. Kitara haven't made up her mind as to what she'd like to become yet. However, she says, teaching is what is tickling her interests. Her favorite teacher is a sports teacher, Mr. Peters, at the Pioneer Preparatory School, because he's very kind. Give it up one more time for Kitara Beaupierre. Anybody knows what the whistling bird in Dominica is called? Nobody? The what? Oh, you Google it somewhere. I saw you like it. Google. And you did it a while ago? Okay. Souffle montane. How many sounds can we get from the souffle montane? Oh, you didn't Google that part? Oh, I see. Well, Google that part. Google that part. It's the souffle montane, yes. But it makes about 13 different sounds. Yes? All right, so we're moving on to the Western District SDA Primary School. Let's welcome Dijon Charles.
I wasn't thinking of that, said his friend. Of course not, but I've got another idea. I don't know if it would work. What? Said his friend. Well, what about taking snacks and of biscuits and buns and take bites with us, said the first man, and throwing them into his kennel. If he's as greedy as everyone says he is, he'll gobble the lots and he'll be so fat that he won't be able to get out of his kennel. Kennel doors are always very small to keep out wind. It's an idea, said his friend, but I don't know if it will work. We'll try it. Well, you should have seen them next night, taking along bags and packets of food for Rip, bones, biscuits, stale buns from the baker's, scraps from the buncher, tidbits of all kinds. They came to the yard where Rip was running about loose. He growled. The man leaned over the wall near his kettle and threw half a dozen buns into it. Rip was after the buns at once. He gobbled them all up. The man threw in some buns and then handfuls of biscuits. Rip was thrilled. What a very, very nice kind man. As long as they kept the other side of the wall, he wouldn't even bark. They threw in the scraps of meat. Rip snapped them all up. Then he ate 6 more stale buns and a whole lot of tasty tidbits. Well, 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 what an appetite! The men marveled to see it. They tried to see if Rip had got any fatter, but it was dark in the kennel, and they couldn't see a thing. I'll climb over into the yard, and if he comes shooting out after me, you must pull me back again quickly, said one of the men. We've no more food for him, so we must just chance it now. He hopped over the wall. Rip saw him and growled at once. The man stood there and watched him, ready to fling himself back over the wall if necessary. Rip tried to rush out of his kennel to attack him, but he couldn't get out. He was stuck in the middle of the kennel opening, and he couldn't get out any further.
All right. Young Dijon Charles from the Western District SDA Primary School. He is 9 years of age in grade 3. His favorite subject is mathematics. He enjoys playing and reading. Young Dijon would like to become a psychologist. Now, of course, I have to ask the question, why? Dijon said to me he heard a few grown-ups talking about being a psychologist, and that sounded like something interesting to him. So he too would like to become a psychologist. Let's wish him well nonetheless. Young Dijon Charles. And now we're moving to our final participant in this first round, the narrative round from the Warner Primary School. Let's welcome Nikki Senville.
He was so dreadful fat with all his bones and biscuits that he simply couldn't sneeze through. "It's all right. He's stuck," said the man to his friend. "Quick, come on. We can do the job nicely now." Both men went over to the house and forced open the window. Rip barked like mad and struggled to get out of his kennel. It wasn't a bit of good. He couldn't understand it. Why couldn't you get out as he usually did? The men disappeared into the house. Rip knew they were up to no good and he backed again. How he wanted to snap at those men and bite them. But he couldn't. He had to stand there half in and half out of his kennel, tired out with struggling and barking. The tabby cat came curious into his yard. "What is the matter?" she said. "Why did you bark?" "Robbers," said Rip anxiously. And I couldn't get out of my kennel." The cat went to his kennel and purred in. She could see quite well in the dark. She laughed. "If you could see yourself, you're fast as a pig. No wonder you could get out. Whatever have you been eating?" Rip growled. "Oh my! I ate everything those men gave me. It was a trick. They meant to make me so fat that I couldn't go for them. Whatever will my master see? To make me so fat that his master said a great deal. When he got home and found his house broken into and his gods stolen, he went out to Rip with a wisp. What do you suppose I keep for you and fill you well for?" he cried. Aren't you a watchdog? Well, you're not to be trusted, and I am ashamed of you. I shall wisp you and hope that will teach you to guard my house properly next time. I shall wisp you. To teach you to guard my house next time. And what's more, you won't get fed so well. You don't deserve it. Poor Rip. He knew he deserved the whipping. And he was very sad. And now he isn't nearly so fat because he doesn't get so much much food. He doesn't even go around asking for any or stealing dinners. He has never forgotten that dreadful night when he was so greedy that he made himself too fat to squeeze out of his kennel.
All right, and that was Nikki Centville from the Warner Primary School. What kind of dog you think Rip is? Anybody want to guess? Yes, what kind of dog you think it is? A Rottweiler. Why you say a Rottweiler? Huh? You don't know. And again, just this morning I was talking to Stephen about, the various types of dog. You think it's a Gatewasna, Rip? A Dominican dog? All right, that was Nikki Centville from the Warner Primary School. She's 8 years of age in grade 3. Her favorite subjects is mathematics and language arts. She enjoys watching television. As a matter of fact, her favorite show on YouTube is 1, 2, 3, Go. She would like to become a nurse. As a matter of fact, she likes the idea of helping people get better. She too, like Abby, lost her kit. She was given a nursing kit some time ago, but hers broke. And she asked me to ask Mom, please get Nikki or Dad or Aunt or Nenen, please get Nikki another nursing kit so she can continue practicing being a nurse. Give it up one more time for Nikki Centville. All right, let me again welcome you, those of you tuning in via Facebook and the DBS YouTube page, and those of you maybe now tuning in via radio. We are here live at the Massacre Canefield Primary School, bringing you day 4 of the first round of competition, the DBS Radio Ministry of Education National Reading Competition, as we seek to find the best reader for 2021. Our students have completed the narrative round. They are now getting prepared for the news round, where they will read a news item. You may have heard me say that before. I will say it again and again and again. The news that will be read here this afternoon was once read on DBS Radio, be it at the 7 o'clock morning news, 13:50 news, or evening news. It was once read on DBS Radio. As you know, we pride ourselves in producing nothing but factual news. So our students will be reading the news item in just a short while, being assisted by Kimara Ito and Miss Nadel Jacob. What I will do now is, I have to take a little break myself too. So I'll take this opportunity to acknowledge our sponsors. All right, and so let me just say thank you to Foxy's Bread Depot, APP Electricals, Jay's Bookstore, the Central Cooperative Credit Union, the National Bank of Dominica, the 8 Bank, the National Cooperative Credit Union, Auto Depot, West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, Crispies, the Grand Bay Cooperative Credit Union, OT Trucking, Springfield Trading, that's the agents for Cool Kids, Jungle Bay Resort, Fort Young Hotel, Carlton Philip Motorpool, Garaway Enterprises, AC Shillingford and Company Limited, Ocean View, and the Simon. Thank you for being our partners for this year's reading competition. We do appreciate your collaboration, and of course we would like to continue doing business with you always. All right, again, our students have been given their reading materials. So let me see if I can do a little something here. You want a joke? Tell me something. One thing I will tell you something. It's one thing when I'm introducing the students here to read, we're taking things seriously. I like that. although I'll ask some of you to be quiet because I can still hear some of you trying to assist the students when they would have stopped, when you think they would have missed a word or something. I'm getting that still. Would like you to keep quiet as possible. But when that is done, I would like you to be there. Now is your time. No. You understand? Okay. So let me see if I can give you a little joke. Real life thing, eh? You all know that, the face mask thing nowadays, we can hardly recognize anybody. That's a true story. There was this young lady who was waiting for a ride from a particular community. Now, the community in which she resides in sometimes it's very difficult to get a bus, especially if you miss that bus. So she decided, to stay by the road and she'll wait for a ride. She noticed that every vehicle is passing her by and nobody is stopping. She said, oh, maybe nobody is recognizing me. Let me take off my mask. Because she was wearing a mask. She took off her mask and she noticed, wait a while, you pack a stop, man. The vehicles continued passing by, but she asked herself a question. She said, but why are they still passing me straight now? And then she noticed she was wearing a wig. She just take it out. And as she take it out, she get a ride. True story, eh, folks? True story. Because the people who knew her a certain way, not with that particular hair she bought. You understand? So no, she just said, you know what? It's not the mask, maybe it's the long wig she had on. She just washed it out and she said she just washed it, she put it back quick. As soon as she did that, she got a ride. So let's try to keep our features as best as we can, because again, in this time of COVID, people are not able to recognize, especially now, as we have to wear a mask and some of us, we have our fancy. I know we use that little mask thing as an excuse nowadays, like me. So, I mean, can you tell if it's my hair or not? It's my hair, by the way. Hey.
The central
with the mask. But anyways, you get the point. So our students are ready from our coordinator standpoint. We are ready? Yes? We've already acknowledged our sponsors, so we are going to go straight into the reading of the news. Let me just take this opportunity to acknowledge the folks at the DBS News Desk, led by our news editor, Curtis Matthew. Let me say good afternoon to Delma Semper, Leila Langford, and Jaya Pending on the news desk. Good afternoon to you guys, and we do appreciate the good works that you are doing. And again, the news presented here this afternoon would have been news read once and then DBS newscast. So we are ready for round 2. So we call again from the Bells Primary School, Kelly Aaron.
Yeah.
DBS News.
CEO of Discover Dominica Authority, Colin Piper, says Dominica presents the ideal opportunity for people wishing to work in nature. His remarks came as Dominica officially launched its Work in Nature Extended Stay Visa program. The program will allow foreigners to obtain a visa to work remotely in Dominica for up to 18 months. Piper says that is no doubt that Dominica provides all the amenities needed to be productive at work. He says the program caters in individuals and families, as children will also be allowed to attend school in Dominica.
All right, and that was Kelly Aaron from the Bells Primary School. And the COVID-19 pandemic has changed things for us drastically. We have somewhat gotten out of our comfort zone when it comes to working, even when it comes to playing. And of course, when it comes to attending school. And it's the same thing here. As you have heard through the news item, that Dominica would have launched the Work in Nature. And what better place to work than in nature? Well, thankfully, Dominica is able to provide, the folks who want to get away from that rush, from that idea, from that stress of the COVID-19 pandemic. Come here. You can work remotely right here. Imagine you at the beach, you at Trafalgar Falls, you at T2 Gorge, you at Middleham Falls, just name it. But yet you are doing your work remotely. So we're happy that Dominica is able to present that particular program where folks can come in from wherever around the world and get a visa for up to 18 months and work here in Dominica while they enjoy this beautiful island of ours, Dominica. And so we are ready for the reader number 2 in the second round this afternoon from the Campbell Primary School. Let's welcome again Mawan Bedminster.
DBS News.
The Ministry of Education is taking steps to keep the Creole language alive. The ministry will this week be observing Creole Week. Creole Week forms part of activities to commemorate Literacy Month in Dominica. Minister for Education Octavia Alfred says this is the first year the ministry is highlighting Creole as part of the country's language. She is also calling on parents to play their part in ensuring the children are exposed to the Creole language.
All right, and that was young Mawan Bedminster from the Campbell Primary School. Some of us, we hear certain news and we say, yes, that's the best news. Well, this is the best news for me when I hear that we're taking steps in making Creole, making the Creole language become more alive. If there was a certain person in this room that I will not mention would feel just about the same way. And we are happy that recently during a Creole symposium where the Minister of Education did mention that they will be taking steps in ensuring that the primary school especially, of course we have to start somewhere, that at this primary school level, we will allow the students to, get involved and educate themselves in the Creole language in an initiative called a 5-minute pause for what? For a Creole cause, yes. And we are happy for that, and of course maybe down the line in a year, 2 years, 3 years or so, we can hear. Live in people have a Creole, like, see sometimes, I might speak Creole, like, see some people, sometimes their reaction is different, like, it's our language, Messi. It's not something we learn because nuka yanka vanu passe de moi check kote. You understand? We're going somewhere for 2 weeks vacation and we come back with yankin. Creole is ours. It's ours to appreciate. The little ones, even if you cannot speak it fluently at home, but tell them, Vinny, a little something, and that in itself will inspire them to, to be interested in the Creole language. And you'll have to forgive me for the passion that I would show here this afternoon. But as we heard from the minister, parents too, top learn everything for a teacher. The teacher, what did teacher tell you today? What did teacher show you today? Or ask the teacher when you go back to school. It can't be all the teacher. It cannot be all the teacher. We too have to play our part. Even like I said, in the little Vinny, the little calm, because I know a lot of folks in Dominica, we are running away from the Creole thing. We're thinking we didn't know enough, our mother didn't teach us enough and all of that. That's an excuse for many people. We can, and let's push our language. It's ours. Nupa Yankee. We are Dominican and Creole is ours. Yes? Sometimes I get emotional when it comes to that. So, all right, so moving on to the reader number 3 here this afternoon from the Christian Union Primary School. Let's welcome one more time Zephaniah Florent.
DBS News.
National broadcaster DBS is getting prepared to host the first ever Creole impromptu competition. The competition forms part of the corporation's 50th anniversary celebration. It is also part of activities to observe the Ministry of Education's Literacy Month. Each student will be required to dip a Creole word and speak on it for 2 minutes in the first round. There will also be an additional bonus round during the competition.
And that was young Zephaniah Florent from the Christian Union Primary School. And again, you're seeing the Creole thing coming back in news. We have to, of course, compliment once again the Ministry of Education and, of course, DBS Radio for this initiative, the Creole Impromptu. DBS Radio, as you know, is celebrating 50 years as an institution. So you will keep hearing it from me every now and then. We are happy to be here. 50 years. Of course, I always say it's not easy to say that you've reached 50 years. Many would not have reached that milestone, but we at DBS, we are celebrating 50 years, and we are happy that we are able to provide service to the Dominican public for that amount of time, and we are hoping that we'll be able to do so for yet another 50 years. So let's give it up for DBS Radio, 50 years, yes. All right, so we're moving on to the Maho Primary School. Let's welcome one more time, Abby Ryan.
DBS News.
The Massacre Primary School has benefited from a project valued at over $30,000. The Billy Doctrove Launch Center was unveiled this morning. Doctrove says his company, Big Edge Financial, was driven to undertake the project following a visit to the school. An emotional Doctrove reveals he had to come forward and assist after seeing the conditions in which students were having their lunch. He says he encouraged his wife to get on board in making a difference in the children's life.
All right. Abby Ryan from the Maho Primary School. Let me again commend Billy Doctrove and Mrs. Doctrove for this initiative at the Maho Primary School. Let me tell you something. I'm sorry, at the Massacre Primary School. We are here, but Maho was reading. I'm sorry, yes. One more is okay, sure. All you have to forgive me when the Creole come now, every now and then, but it sounds better in Creole. Plus mauvais bagay qui ça fait, c'est les enfants faim. You know what I said? The worst feeling is a hungry child. And we know in this modern age that we are living in, you might say, which child would be hungry? But yes, there are children and students that will still be hungry. And it's nice that folks like Billy Doctrove can find it in their hearts to consider the students and the children. Because after a mother have to send, of course, every parent wants their children to do well. The most they can do sometimes is just to send them to school. And hoping that they can be at the mercy of some teachers or maybe another fellow student. But folks like Billy Doctrove saw it's even more to give to some of those students who need it. Because you can't learn. And sometimes you wonder why students don't do well, but we don't know the problem deep inside. Sometimes it's just a little recess they haven't had, you know, and they cannot concentrate. But we're happy that folks, again, like Billy Doctrove, can make this initiative. All right, so we are moving to now the Massacre Primary School. Let's welcome one more time Amelia St. Rose.
DBS News.
The final agreement for the construction of an international airport for Dominica is expected to be signed. The announcement was made by Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit during his presentation in Parliament this morning. The designs for the airport are ongoing and are expected to be completed soon. The Prime Minister says funds for the Citizenship by Investment program will be utilized to begin construction of the international airport. Dominica has received a commitment from the People's Republic of China to assist in the construction of the airport.
All right, and that was young Amelia St. Rose from the Massacre Canefield Primary School. Of course, this news was ancient somewhat because the agreement was signed between the government of Dominica and Montreal Management Consultant last evening at the Windsor Park forecourt. So this, we would have heard, would have been a historic and momentous occasion here for Dominica. So we're expecting, from what the Prime Minister would have said, that the airport would be completed in 2025. For some of you who are dreaming to go to Dubai, you can go in 2025, direct flight from Dominica. And we're expecting some 3,000 people to be employed on this project. So big things for Dominica? Yes? Yes. So who doesn't want the airport to go from Dominica to Dubai to see a particular sheikh? Yes? Yeah, man. All right, so we're moving on to the Pioneer Preparatory School. Let's welcome one more time Kitara Beaupierre.
DBS News.
Projects are on stream for the agriculture sector. The projects will be undertaken with funding from the governments of China and Japan. Minister for Agriculture Fidel Grant says construction on a modern tissue culture facility at 1 Mile Portsmouth will begin soon. Meanwhile, bids will open this year for the rehabilitation of 2 fishery compounds. They are the Roseau and Marigot Fisheries Complex.
All right, and that was Kitara Beaupierre from the Pioneer Preparatory School. And yes, even in agriculture, we too in Dominica is making quite a bit of progress. We've seen agriculture taking quite a big blow during the passage of Hurricane Maria, but we are seeing agriculture bouncing back here as we are hearing plans as to how Dominica can store food in the event of a major disaster. That is, of course, progress for us. And of course, we see in Dominica implementing different agricultural programs like aquaculture and all of that stuff. We are happy for that. So, nuka fe bagay, nuka avance. You'll never wonder what happened to Dominica when all the rest of the world screaming. You'll never wonder? No? You never asked that question? I mean, people suffering, it's pandemic and people crying, but yet we in Dominica, we are progressing. That's because we are blessed and we need to take note of that. All right, so we are moving to the West District SDA Primary School. Let's welcome one more time Dijon Charles.
DBS News.
Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, has tested positive for COVID-19. The Prime Minister began experiencing flu-like symptoms yesterday evening and was subsequently tested for COVID-19. Dr. Rowley is in isolation and under medical supervision. Rowley is currently in Tobago. He was scheduled to receive his first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine in Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago has recorded 389 additional new COVID-19 cases, bringing the total number of 26,799 from 12 March 2020 to present.
All right. Young Dijon Charles from the West District Primary School. And you would know, and you would of course expect COVID-19 to be in the news. It has been there for over a year. And we are seeing how, our sister islands have been managing the pandemic. Again, I would stress how fortunate we are in Dominica. I shouldn't say fortunate, because it's all of us that actually make us, that's all of us here who were able to allow us to be where we are today, because we each had our part to play. Because even those of you who might be viewing via Facebook and YouTube, you would have seen the students wearing their masks, but you cannot see the audience. And I must commend you too, teachers, parents who are here, for allowing yourselves and the students to wear the mask. So we appreciate that. Of course, we in Dominica would have been at 0 cases as of Sunday, but we do have to keep our guards. We cannot let them down. We have to continue the protocols, and we do appreciate that we are observing these protocols here this afternoon. And this round 2 for this afternoon, the final reader from the Moana Primary School is Nikki Senville.
DBS News.
Come next month, next protocols will be in place for vaccinated visitors to Barbados, including a shorter quarantine. The new protocols will take effect from May 8th. Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, explained the country would no longer afford to keep the tourism sector partly closed. She said as a result, vaccine people would only be made to quarantine pending the results of one PCR test upon arrival. A special committee has been established to monitor the new protocols.
All right, and that was young Nikki Senville from the Warner Primary School. So we have come to the end of yet another round 2 for this afternoon, which is the reading of the news item. Now our students will get ready to read a sporting item, as they'll be now handed their scripts by Miss Ito and Miss Jacobs. So what I will do is pause for a cause as we now acknowledge our sponsors.
Your bank, National Cooperative Credit Union, one big family. Jay's Bookstore, your supplier for books, greeting cards and furniture. Carlton Phillips Motorpool, drive in and get the world of vehicle parts. APP Electrical, we do better. OT Trucking, OT at your fingertips for safer trucking services. Springfield Trading Limited, quality is everything. La Falles Lab, quality and confidentiality. Radio, Ministry of Education, National Reading Competition is brought to listeners. Compliments the Central Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Own more shares, get more benefits. Let's grow our credit union together. National Bank of Dominica, your partner, your bank. National Cooperative Credit Union, one big family. Jay's Bookstore, your supplier for books, greeting cards and furniture. Carlton Phillips Motor Pool. Drive in and get the world of vehicle parts. APP Electrical. We do better. OT Trucking. OT at your fingertips for safer trucking services. Springfield Trading Limited. Quality is everything. LaFalle's Lab. Quality and confidentiality. Auto Depot Limited. When you can't find it, we have got it. AC Shillingford and Company Limited. Spend less, get more. Crispies. Tasty. Aid Bank, fulfilling our role in the development of a resilient Dominica. West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, most credible choice. Fort Young Hotel, Ocean Edge, Garaway Enterprises, Jungle Bay Resort, the Grand Bay Cooperative Credit Union Limited, Fox's Bread Depot, The Sign Man. A business without a sign is a sign of no business. Fine Foods Distributors, the biggest distributors of the biggest brands. On-the-go catering services, they are here to satisfy your cravings. 50th Anniversary Radio DBS. We say a big thank you to all our sponsors. We are reading for Felix. We are reading. Reading makes us smart.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Luge, again for allowing us to acknowledge our sponsors. Thank you for those of you who are currently tuned in via DBS Radio, dbsradio.net, DBS Facebook page, and DBS YouTube page. Always a pleasure to have you tuned in. Again, our students have been given their final reading material so they can go through. Kimara Ito and Anadil Jacob is allowing that, is assisting them in the event that they would have any difficulties in reading. So again, they're given a chance. If they have any difficulty in pronouncing a particular word, they're being assisted in that regard. So while that is happening, I will try to entertain those of you who in the audience while our judges are doing their thing. I too have to do my thing. So I see a lot of smart people here. Which one of you like maths? Anybody? Because, you know, funny enough, this is day 4. Day 4, Kimara? Day 4. No, I mean, I have to just make sure. This is day 4 of competition. And at least 96% of the students that have read thus far enjoys mathematics. That is good. Over the years, we've heard of the challenges that our students face in the subject of mathematics. But if it becomes their favorite subject, we'll of course see them excel in that subject. So it's good to know that they enjoy mathematics. I was speaking to a teacher earlier and she said, because we're doing it in a fun way, it was a fun way. It was a fun when I was going to school too, you know. But it's, I don't know. Well, we'll see as time progresses how the results, or what the results show, but we are happy nonetheless that our students are showing a vast amount of interest in the mathematics subject. So, who like maths? Anybody like maths? I want to tackle somebody who loves maths. So the question will be easy for you because you love maths. Now, let me tell you something. When I come to ask questions, I always see the little ones putting up their hands, and those grown-ups that are there, that's supposed to be smarter. So back at the end, but I'll tackle some of you today. So who like maths? Okay. I'm coming to this gentleman here who says he likes maths. Let's see. I'm sorry. Let me make my way through. Okay. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine.
What school do you attend?
I attend the Pioneer Prep.
You attend the Pioneer Prep. What's your favorite subject?
Math.
Haha. Okay. Here's a question for you. If you have 3 apples and 4 oranges in one hand, and 4 apples and 3 oranges in the other hand, what do you have? Now, let me ask you that question one more time. If you have 3 apples and 4 oranges in one hand, and 4 apples and 3 oranges in the other hand, what do you have? He's thinking, folks, for those of you who are listening. He's using his fingers, he's doing his thing. He's tabulating you or calculating, if you want to call it that. Do you have the answer for us there?
No.
You don't have the answer?
No, I don't.
Why? It's a tricky one?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Hey, yeah. You have the answer. Good afternoon to you. Before you give me the answer, how are you?
Fine.
What school do you go to?
SDA Primary.
You go to SDA Primary. You heard the question or should I repeat?
I heard the question.
Do you have the answer?
Yes, 14. That's the answer.
What's the answer?
14.
The answer is 14?
Yes.
What if I were to tell you were incorrect? Would you believe that you were incorrect? Listen to the question again. And this is a riddle, folks? Riddle me this and riddle me that. If you have 3 apples and 4 oranges in one hand, 4 apples and 3 oranges in the other hand, what do you have? It means you have very large hands. How can you hold 4 apples, 3 oranges in one hand? Let me see. It means you would have extremely large hands. Thank you for your participation. We'll continue in just a little while. You still counting there? We are ready. Yes. So we're moving on to round 3, the reading of sports news. So we call back one more time for this afternoon from the Bells Primary School. Let's welcome again Kelly Aaron.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
The Summit Sports Club are putting systems in place to improve its club structure. A steering committee has been established to look after the proper functioning of the club. The committee will also look at fulfilling the club's mandate to tap into the potential of cricketers on player at a time. The Summit Sports Club are the reigning intermediate cricket champions.
All right, and that was young Kelly Aaron. All right. This is sports news here, ladies and gentlemen. The children are now, the pupils are now presenting. So we just had a young Aaron here. Just a short while our judges give us the go-ahead, we'll present the second reader. For those of you who are interested in the current score for West Indies versus South Africa, currently going on in St. Lucia, I may say, I don't know what to call it. But West Indies, ladies and gentlemen, have been bowled out. First day, first test, West Indies have been bowled out for 97 runs. No, it's no joke. South Africa is currently on 66 for 2, leading, while trailing by 31 runs. In case you were wondering, this is what the score is. All right? So we are preparing for our second reader here this afternoon. Let's welcome one more time from the Campbell Primary School, Mawan Bedminster.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
The primary school table tennis championships came to attend this afternoon. The finals of the boys and girls division feature the Seneca Primary and the Will Strathmore Stevens Primary School. The fortune was shared by two schools. Cynical Primary defeated the Wills Strathmore in the boys' division by 3 games to 1.
All right, and that was
And the girls of Wills Strathmore won over the Cynical Primary 3 games to 0.
My apologies. My apologies. Yes, because I too was following, eh? I too was able to follow, so I do apologize for the jumping here. I hope this doesn't affect the scores, judges. Oh, somebody says hour. Okay, I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy. All right, so again, this is the reading of the news, the sports news. I mean, I heard somebody say, when I mentioned the score a while ago, I will not repeat what I heard, but I'm one of those West Indian that never gives up on West Indies, eh? No matter what. I have time, yes, I know. I love my West Indies because I'm with them during the rough time and I'm with them during the good time. Go West Indies, go. Or when they come in the stadium for us to run and support, but we have to rally around our own all the time. And you know, that's the issue we have a lot of times. We tend to put our own down when they're failing, and we pick them up when they're doing good. But we should rally around what is ours. Just like our children, you know, because we do this on our very own when they're not doing well. But when they're doing good, oh, my child. And when they're doing bad, we pack them on a side. But we need to support our own, don't matter what. All right, so we're moving on to the Christian Union Primary School. Let's welcome for the final time this afternoon, Zephaniah Florent.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Defending Premier League championships, Sagicor Southeast will be looking to narrow the gap at the top of the points table. Southeast will take on Petro-Carib Point Michel at the Stock Farm Playfield from 4 p.m. In the other match, Connect 767 East Central will play Middleham United at the Benjamin's Park. Meantime, Promex Harlem United edge out newcomers LA Stars 1-0 at the Benjamin's Park.
All right. Zephaniah Florent, the Christian Union Academy. I too believe that maybe it's time, when I'm hearing Promex United, I'm hearing East Central, I'm hearing East. Kimara Ito will agree with me. It's about time that DBS Radio register its own team. Not you, Kim? Yes, led by Kimara Ito, of course. Yes, but I think it's time we have mixed teams in Dominica, you know, in all sports. What all you think? We already have rounders, man and woman mixed together. We have football, man and woman mixed together. We can have a little mix in everything, man. I mean, it's one time, so that can work? Of course, now. Yeah, man, that can work. All right, so we're hoping to see a DBS football team in the National League at some point. Yes, all right. First division? So we can go straight up then? You have to first, okay, that is the words of Kim, so I don't know. Cricket, I know about, yeah, okay, cool. All right, so we're moving on to the Mao Primary School. We welcome for the final time this afternoon, Abby Ryan.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
The Dominica State College defeated the Dominica Grammar School as action continued in the sports division secondary schools on the 20 tournament on Thursday. State College took the match by 3-1. The games continue today in the under 17 division at the Benjamin's Park and Stock Farm. Portsmouth Secondary will come up against Cassibro Secondary, and Pierre Charles will take on Goodwill Secondary School.
All right. Abby Ryan from the Maho Primary School. And speaking of football, I believe the national team would have landed yesterday evening, having played Anguilla and Barbados in Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic. Emerging in fourth position, of course, after tying or drawing with Barbados in the final match, earning one draw. It was draw at 1. Dominica earning 1 point and earning 4 points in total. So Dominica in their group, that is Group D, stayed at fourth position with Barbados in third, and I believe Panama in first place and Santo Domingo in second place. But we still need to support our own Oko. This is where the point I just made. Let's give it up one more time for the national team of Dominica. We want to encourage them. We want to encourage them to continue thriving for the best. Of course, it's not easy qualifying for World Cup. Well, what World Cup is, not true? It's not playing by the bay, and kicking the ball. That's big man thing. That's big league. And once Dominica can actually get an opportunity to even qualify at any level, we are happy for that progress. So, we are moving to the Massacre Canefield Primary School. Let's welcome for the final time, Amelia St. Rose.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Organizers of the Caribbean Premier League have confirmed the dates for the 9th edition this year. The tournament bowls of August 28th and will wrap on September 19th. The T20 showpiece will be staged in its entirety for the first time in St. Kitts and Nevis. Organizers of the Caribbean Premier League had previously confirmed the start date of the 3-week tournament.
All right. Amelia St. Rose from the Massacre Canefield Primary School. At least we are happy that we are able to see some cricket at some point during the summer. I am just mad, that, we in Dominica cannot get a little cricket for us to go and bubbleize ourselves in the stadium, but hey, there must be a reason for that. So you can look forward to the CPL in August, from August 28th in St. Kitts. We are happy that they could, of course, host the CPL, so we can look forward to some great cricket. Of course, T20. We're happy for that, like I just mentioned. So we're moving on to the Pioneer Preparatory School. Let's welcome Kitara Beaupierre.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Goalkeeper of the LA Enterprise Bombers, Kimani Thomas, is hoping to make his mark on the men's senior national football team. Thomas received a call-up to the senior national team this week. Dominica is continuing preparations for their World Cup qualifiers against Barbados and Anguilla beginning June 2nd. The Bombers goalkeeper said the call came up as a surprise to him.
All right. Kitara Bopie. Well, that was then. June 2nd, they were just preparing. But like I said, they've just landed just last evening. So they're back on island in quarantine. So we're just hoping again, like I mentioned earlier, that our boys can continue to do well. And we've heard from their coach, Lachu, that the guys are doing some intensive training and making sure that they're fit and everything. So when it comes to any team, and we're happy that they could actually adopt the name Nature Boys. We know the Soca Boys, we know the Reggae Boys. We're happy that the Nature Boys can be on showcase. So welcome again back to the Nature Isle. We are heading to the West District SDA Primary School for the final time this afternoon. Let's welcome again Dijon Charles.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Striker of the men's national football team, Julian Wade, says the national team takes pride in impacting the lives of the country's youth. The team has been embarking on a number of community outreach programs. They visited the Girudal Primary School on Thursday. According to Wade, members of the team were able to interact with the students and share positive messages to them.
All right, so thank you so much, Mr. Charles, Devon Charles, the West District SDA. And it's always nice when we see folks succeeding that they can come back and spend time with the little ones, the young ones, give them some words of encouragement, because they too, the students, look up on them. We not all have aspiring doctors and lawyers, but we do have aspiring footballers and cricketers and netballers. And it's nice to know that when our sportsmen can go to the various school and, give some encouragement to the various students. So we appreciate that all the time. So we are heading finally back to the Warner Primary School. Let's welcome again Nikki Saintville.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
The Barfested Football Club is now the official sponsor of the Rosa Primary School football team. The Barfested Club made a presentation of full sets of brand new football uniforms to the school's team during a ceremony Thursday. Manager of the Barfested Football Club, Michael Joseph, says the donation was made in partnership with Admiral Sports out of the Dominican Republic. Principal of the Rosa Primary School, Sarah Abraham, called on the team to assist with the development of the school team.
Nikki Saintville from the Warner Primary School, reading her news sports piece, which takes us officially to the end of competition for this afternoon. We will allow our judges to retire. I too will take a break in assisting with the students and the refreshments. I will first ask our technician on duty to allow us to acknowledge our sponsors before we head back to studio.
The DBS Radio Ministry of Education National Reading Competition is brought to listeners. Compliments the Central Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Own more shares, get more benefits. Let's grow our credit union together. National Bank of Dominica, your partner, your bank. National Cooperative Credit Union, one big family. Jay's Bookstore, your supplier for books, greeting cards and furniture. Carlton Phillips Motor Pool, drive in and get the world of vehicle parts. APP Electrical, we do better. OT Trucking, OT at your fingertips for safer trucking services. Springfield Trading Limited, quality is everything. LaFalle's Lab, quality and confidentiality. Auto Depot Limited, when you can't find it, we have got it. AC Shillingford and Company Limited, spend less, get more. Crispies, tasty. Aid Bank, fulfilling our role in the development of a resilient Dominica. West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, most credible choice. Fort Young Hotel, Ocean Edge, Garaway Enterprises, Jungle Bay Resort, the Grand Bay Cooperative Credit Union Limited, Fox's Bread Depot, The Sign Man, a business without a sign is a sign of no business. Fine Foods Distributors, the biggest distributors of the biggest brands. On-the-go catering services, they are here to satisfy your cravings. 50th Anniversary Radio DBS, we say a big thank you to all our sponsors. We are reading for Felix. We are reading. Reading makes us smart.
Yes, and we are reading for Felix in the year 2021. But like I mentioned, we will take a short break while our judges would have retired and our students will be stretching their legs somewhat before we could produce you with the results. We will now take this opportunity to head back to Master Control with Dr. Miguel Labadie.
give you all this time to share, all this load she bear, all these honest tears. And this is how you repair. Man, you better say a prayer. What will it be when the mountains return to the sea and every single human being upon the battlefield? What will it be when the vet pronounce the last B and you realize that it worth more than honey? But me say, hold your head, youth, nobody cry a seeker. Everything what you see happening, ordained to be amelioration of creation is a part of the creed. Whether or not you agree, you hear me now, stock market crash, recession kicking, coupons up and coupons, but now we're to redeem them. Here we go again, starting all over again. Here we go again, here we go again.
As sure as the sun shall shine, we all one day gonna be fine. One day it's gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be okay. Precious make you think unkind. Burdens make you wanna cry. One day it's gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be okay.
Dre Island, Jesse Royal, be okay. One day it's gonna be okay. Whatever's going on with you, the adversities and struggles, I believe one day it's gonna be okay. Good afternoon to teachers, parents, judges, students, and our DBS crew down there at the Canefield Massacre Primary.
One day gonna be fine.
Reaching out to our viewers and listeners via DBS YouTube page. Clementina says, let's go. Amelia. Andrew says, great job, Miss and Rose. Egana says, go Kitara.
One day it's gonna
Woodfield says, whoop, Amelia.
Everything is gonna be okay.
And Nile Nature's Nugget says, go Dijon, go Western District SDA. More vibes. Reggae Thursday. Coming again, Leela.
You think a little bit of headset, my mommy papa.
Hey.
She said, put down the DJ thing there. I just your book, me want you take up. Cause every day you just make the air nice more while me want you shut up. You feel like no producer boy can carry.
A mother who didn't believe in a daughter's dream. Listen this now.
Now she's my biggest fan. You think a little bit of headset, my mommy papa. She said, put down the DJ thing there. I just your book, me want you take up.
Parents believe in your youths there. You know, support them. They've got different interests, different talents and gifts.
You feel like no producer boy can carry you a studio along.
Sing tune, just say hi.
Now she's my biggest fan.
Feel a care.
Love you, my number one.
Tell her me say.
Of a queen. That's everything what my mama said to me. She's still my biggest fan. Go see your face when you hear this, you want. Words of a queen. That's everything what my mama said to me. I'm up to tell you about a Lila way. The studio door me coulda never ever reach there. For mama said if my do it she a go beat me, yeah. That couldn't keep me away. Because my done did have to try. One day in my room there, I sing a tune pan a nice piece of beat. Me say my neighbor them a tell me how my song sweet. Mama walk in and hear it. Say she need a one up on her playlist. Now she's my biggest fan. Love you, my number one. Words of a queen. That's everything what my mama said to me.
Tell him again.
She's still the biggest fan.
Yeah, man.
See your face when you hear this, you want. Words of a queen. That's everything what my mama said to me. And it was no debate when a time for we get up and go wash out the plate. We coulda never ever set foot through the gate before we read a psalm. Preferably 23 and 98. You say go and hold the fake. If I diss me really want, then put your first and elevate. So on everything you say, me still there, I concentrate. So mom, you see that one, yeah. Why you know say I for you, me do that song, yeah. Now she's my biggest fan. Love you, my number one. Words of a queen. That's everything what my mama said to me, yeah. She's still my biggest fan. Go see your face when you hear this, you want. Words of a queen. That's everything what my mama said. From my mama said. See, ever since I was a little teeny weeny tot, me always dream for build a tune and circulate them up. So everybody start for answer who for that or that. You hear say I for Jerry, you're the one we never talk a lot. See in my heart, love for you, I really got a lot. I hope you know that this is just the start of part. And me give thanks for every single time you lit.
Biggest fan, Leela Ike.
Words of the vine, my biggest fan. Love you, my number one. Words of a queen.
Results momentarily from the Massacre Canefield, or Canefield Massacre Primary.
Still the biggest fan.
Congratulations to the graduates of 2021. Yeah, man, various high school students making that big step, you know. Congratulations and best wishes to you guys.
Must be somewhere for me.
Graduation ceremonies have already begun. Meantime, listen me. Hola. Different thing. Different style. Reggae Thursday. DBS the doctor in the mix. Smooth things out. Nice and sweet. Buju.
I wanna be loved. Hey. Not for who you think I am, not what you want me to be. Could you love me for me? Real love. With no strings attached, I wanna give you my heart. Don't wanna take it back, and this is my chance. Been searching a long, long time for that oh so true love to comfort this heart of mine. No pretend, stop wasting my time. A virtuous woman is really hard to find. I'm telling you, lady, I'm only human, not looking for impossibility. Just a genuine woman with sincerity. Someone who is always there to hold me. Show me you care up front and boldly. Don't shun my feelings, all the positive meanings. Every morning, noon, all seasons. Hey. I wanna be loved, not for who you think I am, not what you want me to be. Could you love me for me? Real love, with no strings attached. I wanna give you my heart. Don't wanna, well, every hour of them stick a bush. What about to me? She must be somewhere out there. Nowhere could she be? Caught up passionately in a love rhapsody. I'm like waiting on some honey, but there ain't no queen bee. Everybody you laugh. Some I say I'm silly, no infatuation, no love fantasy. I'm gonna lead my life like a string. I can't take the on and off thing. I am also lonely inside, so I sing. Love me, not for who you think I am, not what you want me to be. Could you love me for me? Real love, with no strings attached. I wanna give you my heart, lady. I would spend many nights at home. Woman, if it means contention, I'd rather be alone. Tell the serviceman from the phone, I miss a lock all communication. Why? If there's no light within my day, I'd rather stay in isolation. For that special someone, a lifetime I'll wait. I know that I'll be okay. Cross my heart every day, I live, I pray, and I know she'll come my way, night and day. For this woman I pray, I wanna be loved, not for who you think I am, not what you want me to be. Only love me for me, real love, with no strings attached. I wanna give you my heart, don't wanna take it back, and this is my chance. I've been searching a mighty long time for that oh so true love to comfort this heart of mine. No pretend, stop wasting my time. A virtuous woman is really hard to find. I'm telling you, lady, I'm only human, I'm not looking for impossibility. Just a genuine woman with sense.
Wanna Be Loved, the remix, yeah, different thing, different style. Remember when this one came out, the original, on the Till Shiloh album back in 95, I believe.
Morning, noon, all season, I wanna be loved, not for who you think.
Mojo made that crossover to the consciousness, you know, into the Rasta movement. Big album for the Bantan back in the mid-90s. Shout out Black, Din, Median, the crew there vibes on lockdown, you know. Let me big up the Spice Dominica version. Always locked to the vibe, you know. Hey, Sensi, listen this one here, 2021 Chronics. Get used to it, safe and sound.
Rise, get the youth start rise up now. Yeah, man. One sufferation and one poverty make them know evolution time. A Babylon invent crime. We need more love flowing in the streets. Children smile and skin them teeth. More love flowing in the town. All community safe and sound. Love flowing in the streets. Work off iguan and food off eat.
Yeah, man, work off iguan. Food off eat. Me no confiscate it round your patron. Tell them Chronics.
Mercy, all of a sudden everybody a gunman. State of emergency and a bag of tension. Politicians don't have no development plan. That's why every community need a one dance. One order, everybody feel unite. Now you bring the order, Rastafari. Nothing no precious like the youth them life. That's a one thing the amount of money can't buy. Chat them a chat out about them a bad man. I run up them out and go. The guns that they gave you are tools that they use to break good communities down. I must the boom and the rum. Fly up in your head, my son. Make you forget, say you a king and stop. Bleach out your skin and a vex like a blood clown. Aha, children a laugh and a skin them teeth. More love flowing in the town. All communities safe and sound. More love flowing in the street. Where traffic one and food I feed. More love flowing in the town. Come on, Jamaica, tell me how my sound. Look how much our son when them kill already. Look how much juvenile them killing again. Future Shelley and Fraser's just ain't boats. The doctors, the lawyers and all the singer them. African people will like the world already. And through the powers of finally we are win again. We up and we ready, they not permanent. This was the fire and everything I did. Chat them and chat and I talk about them bad and I run up them out and go. Prostituting my daughters, the son them get slaughtered. They breaking our families down. I must the boom and the rum. Where the dirty government bring come. Make you forget say you a queen and stop bleach out your skin and a flex like a foaming sun. Or it could be many years of brainwashing. Or the stupid with a big tail. It even might be these pills that they popping. Make everybody feel like a big devil. I feel face the truth and we can't hide from it. I feel ill people that's inevitable. Cause the poison food that make the youth brain damage. Coupled with the crap they're watching on the cable. Pastor and I answer the youth them in the church sick and dying from cancer. Marijuana is a healing and a long time church people are laugh off a rasta. Jamaica government invest millions of dollars to destroy with and race sativa. Bring in seeds from California and then they legalize ganja.
Yes, sure boy, and rude girls alike. How you mean?
Do you say that having one of them hell of a nights? Move it, baby. We can make it larger than life. Leave me, baby. Yeah. Need it, baby. Won't be around the bush like they do. Cause I see something special if you get one. Do you say that having one of them hell of a nights? Move it, baby. We can make it larger than life. Leave me, baby. Need it, baby. Won't beat around the bush like they do. Cause I see something special in you.
Left freebie between us. You, my Medina, a queen like Amina or Fatima, redeemer of passion. We both had compassion for the black diaspora and all its vastness. You in my plans, thinking of a master, the essence of your dance, the truth in your laughter that I wanna capture and cultivate stature. I'll be here for you till the hereafter. There's a clear path to the love inside you. My name's Rashid. It means I'm a guide to we both are driven. That's why we arrived to a place where now anything we can ride through. To tell the truth, I lied and been lied to. Seeker of a deeper ether, you don't have to hide you. Time to be in front, time to be beside you. I don't wanna move with nobody besides you.
Do you say that having one of them hell of a nights? Move it, baby. We can make it larger than life. Leave me, baby. Yeah, yeah. Need it, baby. Won't beat around the bush like they do. Cause I see something special in you. Yeah, what? Do you say that? Having one of them hell of a nights. Move it, baby. We can make it larger than life. Leave me, baby. Yeah, yeah. Need it, baby. Won't beat around the bush like they do. Cause I see something special in you.
Special to me. And it's pretty much the same for anyone when meet you. Cause to know you is to want you and to need you. And them a go on like them blind when them see it. Special to me. You greet them with a smile, them I wonder how I sweet you. Meditation, high negativity beneath you. Stand up side by side on our own 2 feet. Like his and her majesty. When them fulfill the prophecy. And coronate as king and queen so the whole world can see the palace run on one policy. Let the foundation be honesty. And let us love each other honestly. Like a flame against the wind, but our lamp is kerosene, it burn longer than matchstick.
What? Do you say that? Having one of them hell of a nights. Move it, baby. We can make it larger than life. Leave me, baby. Yeah, yeah. Need it, baby. Won't beat around the bush like they do. Cause I see something special in you. Yeah, what? Do you say that? Having one of them hell of a nights. Move it, baby. We can make it larger than life. Leave me, baby. Yeah, yeah. Need it, baby. Won't beat around the bush like they do. Cause I see something special in you. Yeah, what?
11 before 5, the sound of DBS Thursday. June 10 already. Halfway there in 2021, boy. Wow. 11 before 5, that's the time. Brought to you by Force Security. For all your security and escort services, Force Security is here to protect and serve. Call Force Security at 448-8909. Reggae music continues right here in a little bit. We touch base with our outside broadcast team for this afternoon's results of the reading competition. Meantime,
I can do anything, be anything that I put my mind to. Want to be positive, corrective. You can take control. I can do anything, be anything that I put my mind to. Want to be positive, corrective. Take control. I can see much clearly. Better days are coming now. I can see much clearly.
yeah, man, let's all let the boys and girls over there at the Canefield Massacre Primary know.
Better days are coming now.
You do anything, you put your mind to.
Dark clouds is coming.
Tell them, Richie.
Right now, we're riding to a renaissance. Right now, things we're gonna change. Can be for the worst, must be for the best. Yes, relax your mind, take a breath, take a rest.
South Africa 88.42 last time we checked.
Better days are coming now. I can see much clearly. Dark clouds has come and gone. Yeah, I can see clearly. Better days are coming now. I can see much clearly. Dark clouds has come and gone. I can be anything, do anything that I put my mind to. Want to be positive or active. You can take control. I can be anything, do anything that that I put my mind to. Want to be positive, proactive, take control. No more fret, no more stress, ease your mind, take a rest. Rise to the top and know that you are blessed. Oh yes. Put your dreams and reality to the test. Oh yes. Come on, let the world know that you are the best. Hey, I can be anything, do anything that I put my mind to. Want to be positive, proactive, you can take control. I can do anything, be anything that I put my mind to. Want to be positive, proactive, take control. I can see much clearly, better days are coming now. I can see much clearly, dark clouds has come and gone. Yeah, I can see clearly, better days are coming now. I can see much clearly, dark clouds has come and gone. Right now, we're riding to a renaissance. Right now, things we gonna change. Can't be for the worst, must be for the best. Oh yes, I said again, put your dreams and reality to the test. I can be anything, do anything that I put my mind to. Want to be positive, proactive, you can take control. I can be anything, do anything that I put my mind to. Want to be positive, proactive, you can take control.
Richie Spice, I can see clearly the sound of DBS. We are in the hurricane season. You've heard that message so many times. Listen.
Everybody beware and you better prepare. Disaster can happen anytime, anywhere. Everybody beware and you better prepare.
When a watch is issued for a tropical storm or a hurricane, it means that your area might become affected by strong winds and rain within 36 hours. Switch to a battery-operated radio and continue to listen to it during the next 12 hours for further updates. Sadira, your local disaster office, and this radio station urge you not to be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be aware and be prepared.
Everybody beware, you better prepare. Disaster can happen anytime, anywhere. Everybody beware, and you better prepare. Disaster can happen anytime.
There is value all around us. Spiritual, therapeutic, physical, economic, the energy, the power, an ocean of endless possibilities. The ocean is there for our enjoyment, for the enrichment of our lives, for our nutritional needs and food security. But first, we need to care for our ocean, conserve its resources for generations to come, or else we could lose it all.
This message brought to you by the OECS Commission with funding from the government of Norway. Remlet, tackling ocean pollution from turf to surf.
Table while the kids are going off to school. Goodbye. She reaches out and takes my hand, kisses it and says, "How you doing, hon?" And I look across her smiling lips that warms my heart, see my morning sun. And if that's not loving me, then all I got to say, oh, God didn't make the little green apples, and it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime. There's no such thing as Dr. Zeus, Disneyland and Mother Goose, and no nursery rhyme. myself is feeling low, I think about her face aglow and ease my mind.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes I call her up at home, knowing she's a busy. And ask her if she could get away and meet me. Maybe we could grab a bite to eat, yes. She drops what she's doing and hurries down to meet me, and I'm always late. She sits waiting patiently, smiles when she first sees me, 'cause she's made that way. Well, if that's not loving me, then all I got to say, God didn't make the little green apples, and it don't snow in Indianapolis in the wintertime. Well, there's no such thing as Dr. Zeus, Disneyland and Mother Goose, and no nursery rhyme. Oh, Jah didn't make the little green apples, and it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime. Well,
thanks for that cool Medi, Chris Martin.
my life is feeling low.
Feel good tunes, you know, on a Thursday. That's how we do it. Standing by for this afternoon's reading competition results. Meantime, remember this one here?
Yeah, yeah.
Too fierce.
You are my African queen. Ooh, Lord. Ooh, Lord.
To all the Empress, them listen up.
Just like the sun, light up the earth. You light up my life.
Sweet and nice.
The only one I ever see with a smile so bright. Hey. And just yesterday, you came around my way. You changed my horse in way with your astonishing beauty. Oh, you couldn't make a brother sing. No ordinary thing, a supernatural being. And no, you are brighter than the moon, brighter than the star. I love you just the way you are. And you are my African queen, the girl of my dreams. You take me where I never been. You make my heart go ding-a-ling-a-ling. Oh, you are my African queen, the girl of my dreams. You remind me of a thing, and that is the African beauty. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, you are my African queen. Oh, Lord, ooh, Lord. Out of a million, you stand as one, they are standing one. I look into your eyes, girl, what I see is paradise. Hey, you captivated my soul. Now every day I want you more. I cannot deny this feeling I'm feeling inside. Hey, no one cannot take your place. You cannot take your space. That is a fact I cannot erase. And no, you are the one that makes me smile, make me float like a boat upon the Nile. Girl, you are my African queen, the girl of my dreams. You take me where I never been. You make my heart go ding-a-ling-a-ling. Yeah, you are my African queen, the girl of my dreams. You remind me of a thing, and that is the African beauty. Yeah. And I know, oh yes I know, you are my African queen. And I know, see I know what I am feeling in my heart and in my soul. Oh, I know that it's
Dr. Labadi, if you can hear me, give me a dip in the music, please.
Sent from up above, 'cause you're the only one that I think of. You are my African queen, and I know that
Dr. Labadi,
you're the only one that I will serve.
if you can hear me, give me a dip, please.
My heart, my love, my body, and my money. Every other thing you think of.
Calling all the students back inside.
Better than you. Who could think of ever hurting you? Sacrifice my all, I'll give it all to you. You are my African queen, for real. You are my African queen. The girl of my dream, the girl of my take me where I've never been. Oh, ding-a-ling-a-ling, oh, darling. You are my African queen. You are my African queen. The girl of my dream, my African. You remind me of a thing. Oh, and that is the African beauty.
Wow, saying hi to Kimala. What's happening, African Queen?
I love you. I love you. Munyemo, I love you.
Hope you enjoyed this one. Dean,
I love you.
soon as you guys are ready, let me know. We are standing by. Let's see if our friends are ready. Okay, I'm hearing myself in the background. Give me a signal, Mia, if you're ready.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
That's it. Echo.
You don't know. All right. Good afternoon one more time. Welcome back to this reading competition, day 4 of round 1. And yes, for some reason, since we came in here this afternoon, a particular teacher has been beating her leg. You can calm down now, honey. Competition is over. You can calm down. Yes, I know you're nervous, but we know why, but you can calm down now. The results are out. We will select the top 5 readers for this afternoon, but again, remember, we'll be selecting the top 30 to advance to round 2 as we are on our quest to select the best reader on island for the year 2021. And remember, we are reading this year in honor of the late Felix Henderson. Before we move into the results, we'll call on our head judge here this afternoon, Mrs. Charlene White Christian, to give us a few remarks on behalf of the judges.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, students, parents, teachers. First of all, I would like to say that our students did a fantastic job and we should give them all a round of applause. They represented their schools very, very well. As judges, sometimes, like we always say every year, there are certain things that we are privy to that the audience is not privy to. And you may find that a student may have read perfectly, but they may have missed an entire sentence. They may have missed a word. They may have replaced a word. Okay, and those are the things that we look forward to. There was one error that every child made. That is the before the vowel. So we need to be careful when we are teaching them to read. Okay, that it's not the before a vowel, but the before a vowel. Quite a few of them did a lot of replacements. So instead of saying on, they may have said no, all right? And they may have seen a word with an S, and they did not put the S, or there was no S, there was no plural form, and they added a plural form. There were certain areas where a was missing or an was missing, and the students in reading may have figured, okay, it was an error, it made more sense, and they put the or the an. All right? Whatever is seen on the paper, that is what they are expected to read, whether there is an error or not. Something else that was noticed was their intonation. Okay, so we need to work a little bit on intonation. As it relates to pronunciation, we felt that was fairly well handled. The students pronounced their words fairly well. There were a few words that were a little difficult, but it's okay. As it relates to names of persons, even if they named them a little differently, to us that's okay. It's just the name of a person. Some of them also, we noticed that they were counting their words. It showed a lack of comprehension. So that is something that we need to work on as it relates to just counting words and comprehending what is being read. So that is another observation that we made. But all in all, we felt that the students did a very good job. We are hoping that those who make it to the next round, that you will do some more work with them and ensure that they relax themselves. Some of them were a little uncomfortable. Most of them read with their heads down all the time. There was no little eye contact, no little breathing moment. And that is something we need to teach them, that when they're reading, not to just have their heads, down in the papers, but they need to, breathe a little bit, do a little, have a little eye contact every now and again. And the final thing that I wanted to mention is their posture, their whole posture, their whole sitting. Who sat with their hands on their face, that kind of thing. They need to sit properly to read, because that helps. Okay, so all those little things, they may sound minor, but they help in proper reading techniques, okay? So once again, congratulations to all the students. You all did very well. Even though you did not make it to the next round, you did your schools very, very proud. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Christian. And now the moment that most of you, if not all of you, have been waiting for. As we mentioned, the top 30 will advance to the next round. However, we'll present to you who the top 5 readers are for this afternoon. All right. So when I call on you, you will join me up front. In the 5th position, with 302 points from the Massacre Canefield Primary, Amelia St. Rose. In the 4th position, with 312 points from the Maho Primary, Abby Ryan. In 3rd position, with 371 points from the Christian Union Primary, Zephaniah Florent. In 2nd position, with 405 points from the Western District Seventh-day Adventist, Dijon Charles. And our top reader for this afternoon, with 430 points from the Pioneer Preparatory School, Kitara Beaupierre. So those are our top 5 readers this afternoon. However, again, at the final round, we will look at the scores and select the top 30 to advance to round 2. We want to call on those who did not make it. Your names did not call here this afternoon. Do not be discouraged, as I mentioned to you earlier. Continue to read. Reading can take you very, very far. So these are our top readers this afternoon. Give it up for them one more time. All right, so you can join us for the Southern District, if you want to call it that. Day 5 of competition, round 1, as we head to the Newtown Primary School tomorrow afternoon at 2:30. Join us then. Let me say a special thank you to our judges here this afternoon. Thank you so much for your service. We want to thank our brandsman here this afternoon, Mr. James Rodney, Kimara Ito, our coordinator. Alongside her, Annadale Jacobs, our technician on duty, Mr. Dean Thomas, our media personnel, Median Packet, our cameraman, Mr. Marcus Emmanuel. I am Amelia Joseph Dennis, taking you back to Studio 1. Thank you so much.
Zephaniah Flora of the Christian Union, 3rd place. Dijon Charles came in at number 2, representing the Western District SDA, that's Seventh-day Adventists, and Pioneer Prep came in at number 1 this afternoon. Kitara Beaupierre. So we say congratulations to the 5 and to the rest of the students. All right, just keep practicing, keep reading, keep listening to news and various programming. Ask questions, okay, engage in conversations and matters of importance, different topics. Just keep reading, keep writing, practice your spelling and all that, you know, as Charlene White Christian mentioned, you know, a few pointers out there with the intonations and all that. All right, so continue to help the students, all right, especially in areas where they need that extra support. Next, the competition heads to the Newtown Primary. That's tomorrow at 2:30. All right, so more reading action tomorrow. All right, that's just a